Greetings, everyone. It's a Sunday where I'm at today. And I don't know if you're watching this today on Sunday or another day, but I'm glad that you're here joining me. And that's Fire over here. I'm going to speak a little bit about what is gifted. You've heard the expression before, the children that go to the classrooms that are called GT, gifted and talented. Maybe you have a child or you yourself are someone that actually was in the gifted and talented program. Did you know they have a lemonade flavor? Yeah. Do you ever hear people throughout your entire life, man, she's so lucky. She's so lucky. Look at those beautiful dreadlocks all the way down to the end of her back. She is lucky. I said, well, there was a day that they started off being little baby dreadlocks, and no one thought I was lucky. They thought, ooh, I don't think I could go outside looking like that. And there was a time, 3 times in my life, that people thought, she is so lucky. And they've told me, you are just divinely gifted by God. You're lucky. You've got all these things. And I said, well, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, are we gifted by God? Absolutely. But is all of it a gift? And that's what I want to talk about today. And I think you might find it pretty interesting. Here's why. Because we have everyone in this world of intelligence talk speaking about their IQ, which is their intelligence quotient, speaking about their EQ, which is their emotional maturity and experience level, their emotional quotient, the EQ. And there are books written about it, which I've read, which I've tested myself long ago, emotional intelligence. And as my being a 59-year-old right now and having had a child in the public schools and private schools and public schools, there's always been a small little classroom for GT kids, GT children. Moreover, the children that tested really high on testing, like Iowa Skills here in Minnesota, or the MCA, or they might be called a variety of different names wherever you are. But ultimately, you know someone who you're like, man, that person's just kind of intimidating. Like they're just so super creative and they have great communication, and it's like they just can bounce back through anything. What if it was possible, and I believe it is, for just about all of us, right, Fire? Just about all of us have the ability to become what is today known and touted as gifted and talented, the Mensa people. Okay. When you belong to some of these different groups, including the one I really deeply respect by Dr. James T. Webb, a group called S as in Sam, E as in elephant, N as in Nancy, G as in gorilla, SENG, S-E-N-G, supporting the emotional needs of the gifted, which was a group that was referred to me by a psychologist, a counselor that I went to as a solo parent when my child was formerly displaying oppositional and defiant tendencies, and I thought, I'm getting really overwhelmed here. But you see, this was long before I brought on hair tissue mineral analysis. It also, not only did it show me exactly why my son was suffering, but it showed me why my own IQ and his were in such a high level. It helped me to understand how and why all of our people, just about all of our people, were being shortchanged. Well, you see one common thread that runs through SENG, supporting the emotional needs of the gifted, is a book that I read a long time ago. In fact, that's how it came to the attention of the counselor, is my finding this book and reading it by Dr. James T. Webb, The Dual Diagnosis and Misdiagnosis of Gifted Children and Adults, that were commonly being diagnosed as ADD, ADHD, ODD, autistic, and many, many other things. So you see, a person, an individual, right? Bless up, good to see you. An individual who possesses a very active brain has a good level of copper. A person who's got a very, very overactive brain has a very high level of copper. So if I don't have copper in my 1960s and 70s and 80s cars, depending on when they were made, there was a copper coil in the car. The car is not going to function well. It may not even turn on, but it certainly isn't going to really have full performance and steam and power if the copper coil is eroding and corroded, and it's not going to work well. The car eventually won't even start. Now today we have computerized cars. The same thing is true with this human vehicle. I have a human vehicle, and it's being replaced with AI, artificial intelligence. So when I kept saying we're being pulled into the machine, this is what I'm speaking about. So let me back up for just a moment to before giving birth to my son Zawa, who passed last year, who was hijacked by a system that knowingly and willfully positioned psychoactive substances on the plantation, the world, the land, across the land, the whole world, as a treatment for pain. They do work well on some level. But just as they did with Valium, as is spoken about in the book American Overdose, they did the same thing with this, with a vaccine-injured brain. Mm-hmm. You see, one thing you should never doubt is the power of a mother. Because we love our children. We love all children. And Great Mother cares about nature. She cares about sustainability. She cares about the animals. She's going to get back up. Swear to God, no matter if you kill her dead, she's going to get back up. And she's going to keep running and moving and going. And our lives, my son and mine, were like something out of a science fiction movie for 4 years. October 29th, I walked into his room and he was dead on the floor. The wind is out of my sails. My son is gone from Earth at only 24. He never wanted that. I never wanted that. It took over so many aspects of our lives, financially, our home, the dogs, our health, everything, the car, everything. So I did a lot of thinking. And I want to share it with you because I am real. I'm not plastic. I don't bleach up my teeth. I don't put on fake nails. I don't have eyelashes. This is my face after a shower. It's me. I go out and I walk in the cold. Come in and made some cornmeal porridge, Jamaican style. I'm going to tend to my laundry. I'm going to tend to my writings, and I'm going to be here for you because this is important. And I've been thinking, how do I break it down? Because it's been in my mind like something on the pot that you're cooking. Baba Yaga is cooking it on the pot and cooking it. And as I sweep the floor, and as I mop the floor, as I put the laundry in the washer, as I walk outside with the dogs, it's resonating. It was marinating. It's preparing itself for birth. That's what a shaman does. We didn't run out and buy a credential. We got back up over and over and over, like I'm doing right now, in a stark reality where people are confused. They're conned and they're fused up with the fake and slap it together, and you got a mess where now it's easier with destabilized energy to just move in and take over. Do you feel me? Do you feel me? I hope you do. So there's not a reason why little Johnny and little April and little Susan and little Carrie and little Deshawn are all sitting in the small little gifted and talented classroom in the school, and all of the other children are over here in the mainstreamed public education, which is akin to a penal system. You should never use it, trust me. Never. And I get it. Some of us had to as solo parents. And then now you've got this growing segment of the school population that's going into what has been typically called Title I. More public finances. You are the public. We're being put into helping the children in Title I, getting them the federally funded breakfast, getting them the federally funded lunch. Are you fucking kidding me? You've been poisoning people for a hell of a long time. You've been bringing their IQ down while you're helping them. That's the truth. Let me put my hands on my hips so you see me. That's the truth. So we just talked just a little bit about copper and the copper coil in the car. Just a little bit. Why do we have cretinism all over Africa? Why? Which cretinism is just a glorified way of saying dumbing down, retarding. Why do we have so much hirsutism? Why do we need to speak in Harry Potter language? Ankylosing spondylitis and hemochromatosis. I'm not here to be your sorcerer. I'm here to fight good over evil. Make no mistake. I'm not here to pump religion. I'm not here to pump politics. I'm not here to pump academics, and I'm not here to pump the industry. I'm here to pump good over evil. Period. End of sentence with the spelling, folks. All right. Word sound is important. You need to know it because it'll help you to see clearly and see through the maya, the illusion that the sorcerers love to play. So if the people feel that, oh, well, just some of the people have a very high IQ, just a few, they're just gifted. It's what I've been telling you for a long time. When I would go into the massage room for 17 and a half years in Cloquet, Minnesota, and touch in and go to do a lovely massage on someone and give them my best. And it opens up an arena intuitively and perceptively, and I say, either in session if I'm afraid, if I'm feeling as though, not afraid, but feeling as though I may forget what I've just heard or seen inside of my mind while I'm working on the person and with the person, the individual on the table. And I tell them, and they go, "You are so lucky." I go, "No, there's no luck to it." So for years and years and years and years, little Karen, little girl, till now 59-year-old Karen, probably until I was in my 40s, late 40s, I was like, well, because grandma taught me a lot of these things when I was very young that are connected with nature. That is how I became adept at them. I became anointed somehow. Then as I wrote my thyroid book, Detox and Heal Your Thyroid, it dawned on me, wait a minute. If that pituitary gland is doing what it's supposed to do, that little pea-shaped gland, inside of me is secreting TSH down to my thyroid, then my thyroid's going to be able to do what it needs to do, which is to give energy to every cell in my body. I know about the HPA axis. I know about all of thyroxine and triiodothyronines and all of the conversion process where one molecule of iodine has to drop off in the conversion process to create ATP. Okay, nobody needs to know all of that. You just need to know that you're part amphibian and part plant and part animal, and you yourself are an amalgamation of a domesticated human animal. And now they want to domesticate you even further. But dumbing you down enabled you to be further experimented on. So you see, I took my IQ from a very lower level, and I brought it way up. Why did it go down in the first place? That's a long story, but to make it extremely short, my entire mouth, 23 of my teeth were filled down to the bottom and drilled with mercury, silver, tin, and copper put together and put into the teeth, so that every time I was chewing, I was releasing mercury into my bloodstream, but I was also releasing copper. So one of the clues I had was when I was about 19 years old and I got onto birth control. I'd left home. I thought, this is not a time to have babies. I'm in a committed relationship. And I went to the doctor, even though grandma said, don't ever trust these guys. They're going to get you on pills and drugs and cut out body parts and chemically treat you and make you believe that they're healing you, and they're not. But no, everyone was going to the gynecologist. I needed to be responsible and get my yoni checked. So they put me on birth control pills. And within a month of being on those pills, I started hemorrhaging and had to run to the emergency room. No one ever gave me a legitimate reason. They just said, you cannot take birth control pills. What are birth control pills? Estrogen, right? They called them low ovals. They were estrogen pills so that your body would believe that it was pregnant and not have a period. Remember, the end of a sentence. That's why I call it a moon cycle for decades now. Estrogen is comprised of copper. I was already sky high in copper. So once in 2005, I got all of these amalgams drilled out. I was so afraid to go back to the dentist after the dental abuse. Okay? I was given nitrous oxide as a 12-year-old girl in 1973. And all these, I would be dropped at the dentist and dropped at the dentist over and over and over and over, while these teeth were just rammed and drilled and filled. And don't even think for a moment that the dentist legit thought that was a good thing to do for me and was preventative and protective, because it wasn't. When I changed my diet in 1984, when I started detoxing my body, when I started feeling so good that I started walking, and then not long after that, within 2 years, 1986, I joined a gym, and I thought, everyone else is going to the gym. It looks like they're doing really good. They've got like a shine on their face, and they look healthy, and their eyes are bright as compared to the people that don't go to the gym. And I joined Los Gatos Swim and Racket Club. After all, it was kind of looking like those are the kind of people I wanted to mingle with. I was out on my own and with my partner, and there's a pool, there's lovely things, and I started with the Stairmaster, and I couldn't do not even 3 minutes the first time. I was like, oh my God, how are these people doing this stuff? So then I got it up to 5 minutes. Then I did 5 minutes for quite a while, and I got it up to, like 10 minutes. I got it up to 15. I was like, whoa, I'm smoking. I'm doing 15 minutes on the Stairmaster. This is great. I got it up to 20. I got it up to half an hour. Pretty soon, I was doing an hour on the Stairmaster. It started to kind of jack my IT band. There's an iliotibial band, because if your foot pronates a little bit and it kind of points out just a little bit, it'll start to torque and tighten that band on the side of your knee. And that's not a good idea. So a lot of us started shifting over to the elliptical trainers. So you get on there and it kind of was an elliptical motion with the big foot pads. And I did those for 90s, 2000s, 2010s until COVID. And I'm like, hell no, am I going to go exercise with this plexiglass case around me, a mask on, and God knows whatever else? I'm not doing it, okay? Detoxification through the gym, the walking, the sunlight, the change of the food, opened me up. Now I could pick up a book and I didn't just fall asleep after I read the first page. I didn't forget everything I was reading. I thought, my God, I'm just not cut out for this. I can never read a book. I sat in high school algebra and I was just in the back, because I was so full of mercury and so copper toxic. I was just like shut down. In fact, my nickname was Turtle. When I wrote Detox and Heal Your Thyroid, someone had gifted me a little tiny metal turtle with a green shell on his back, and I put it there. They didn't have any idea that that's who I was then in high school, junior high and high school, and part of my early 20s. But I put that on that hard table that I sat there writing Detox and Heal Your Thyroid, my second book that I published. And I believe I published that book, and I believe that the counselor that I started to say at the very beginning of this video that told me my IQ, and I almost fell over. And I said to him in that moment, there's no gifted to this. If I could do it, it means almost everyone could do it. And it means it's criminal that we're not making sure everyone can do this. So is it our priority to print out paper and cloth masks and get all worked up about all this if in fact we've been educated that it's less than the flu? Is it not our priority, as I've been speaking actively for decades, to clean our air, to re-nurture our soil, to help the water? Water is a living tonic. It has to flow over the minerals. So it can provide you with these little trace amounts of elements that you need. I was explaining this with a woman at Perrin's Auto yesterday who's so lovely in Duluth, Minnesota. And I said, if I bring my car into you and the windshield wipers don't start, and the back brake light, you've put in a new light bulb and it still doesn't work. Fire's doing some snoring over there. And 3 different things on my vehicle don't work. And you go, Karen, did you check the fuse box? And I go, no, I didn't really even read the owner's manual on my car. And she goes, well, if you would have read the owner's manual on your vehicle, you'd find out you have a fuse box. Okay? And if any of those fuses goes bad and burns out, this little teeny tiny fuse, you can't have your windshield wipers on. How many of you listening to my videos can't get pregnant, can't grow hair, are turning gray at 20, 30, or 40? Your children are oppositionally defiant to the point that you want to go dump them off somewhere. Trust me. I know. I did therapeutic foster care. And what is the retort, the response? We're going to have you go to the psychiatrist. We're going to put you on about 10 to 12 medications. I'm like, ooh, have you ever thought about what the combination of those 10 to 12 medications is doing? What is gifted? That's the title of this video. If we don't give all of our people the fullness and the opportunity to become enjoined with the mind and the body to such an extreme level that they are so connected with God that nothing can cloud their vision. No sorcery, words sound, no putting them under periods and sentencing and spells. In other words, if my IQ was likely around 95, about an average number, the average individual walking around, and then someone tells you it's over 130, I want to cry because I know that but for the hair tissue testing and the work that I learned with detoxification, but for my path, I don't fix cars, I don't fix houses. I fix humans and dogs, okay? But for the 37-year path plus what I learned as a child with my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, and my paternal grandmother, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't. How many mothers have lost their children, hundreds of thousands, to this opiate game? If it wasn't a game, we wouldn't have ordered a boatload of frickin' fentanyl back into this country. Somebody's making a hell of a lot of money. Not just somebody, someone. Let's use our word sound, because we're not just nobody, somebody. We're someone or no one. Word sound power. Thank you, Rastafari, for those teachings in the late 70s. I'm no baby. We have the ability to enliven our people. If the government sees us as public, the public, as I was speaking earlier, and we just become nothing more than chattel with a very limited lifespan, very limited intelligence, right? We're all treating for something, like the woman said that I was speaking with yesterday at a different location. She said, I've got 3 autoimmune diseases. I said, right. I said, I was just speaking with someone else who has MS, RA, and lupus. Come on, man. I don't want to play this game. I don't. If we took the mamas, the mothers, before they gave birth, worked on themselves, not the way we're doing today, not pizza, chicken nuggets, shrimp poppers, jalapeno poppers, Captain Crunch, Fruity Pebbles, corn dogs, ice cream. I got to go get my hair done, which means lots of chemicals entering the blood-brain barrier. Our hormones, our brain, our entire central nervous system, top down, spine, all the way down, is an amazing, amazing creation. The fact that it has been dimmed and slowed, poisoned, stultified, the fact that we are under a system that operates in a very Harry Potter-like way, it's upsetting. It's upsetting because I've gone a very long time on this journey. I've shown you my face, how my eyes, my skin, my throat, my voice, my energy are healing against the odds. Against all odds. You've already done, system, the worst thing you could have ever done to me. You played me hard. You spit us out, and my child is gone from earth. The only thing that really, really mattered to me, really in the heart, was becoming grandma. I had told my son about 3-4 years before this happened, and right around the time that he got hijacked in the limbic system of the brain by people who came over intending to take this country down and using psychotropic, psychoactive, psycho mind fucking drugs to do it. Shame on you. Shame on you. I told my son, I want to adopt about 5 more babies so I can bring them in and unfuck them and help them to cleanse out and detoxify so they can reach greater levels in the mind. And I knew that there may be women out there, especially with melanated children like my own, that would have said, hey, could you take my son so that I can stay connected? And so because I know that what you're going to do, you're going to take him out to nature, you're going to help him eat really good food. You're going to teach him how to grow food and connect with food and compost and, all these things that I want to do in my lifetime and wanted to do with my own child as well. A mother, a mature mother, an intelligent mother with both the intelligence that the system measures, okay, and the emotional intelligence, but there's more. There's intuitive intelligence and there's perceptive intelligence, right? Last night, I had a situation. I was walking outside in the dark with the dogs, had a couple of men that were really foul. And I had to think about immediately, what was the magnetics? I'd been watching a video before that about a woman who said that she had had an interaction with 3 men. You need to realize that now, because the grid is changing into this artificial intelligence, the magnetic capability of the grid, connecting with your thoughts, because it's looking to connect with you, like I said, you're being pulled into the machine. Trust me when I tell you this. That these toxic metals inside of you are something you need to get a handle on, you need to look at. And here we are at 31 minutes, so I'm going to close it down in just a moment. Okay. No, you're not gifted. You came in with the right mix of trace elements, high copper. It makes you more conductive, perceptive, intuitive. It gives you a faster mind. So I used to think to myself, God, most people around me are pretty doggone lazy. They're not cooking food. They're not keeping their house clean. They're not getting out to nature. They're not blah, blah, blah. Because like I was for many, many years of my life, they're shut down. So yes, they're sleeping and they're sleepwalking because the doctor's system is not going to give them the trace elements. Very, very, very few, maybe 1% of those who went and obtained the credential are going to know anything about this. And even if you test blood levels, you're testing right at that precise moment. You could have eaten a high copper food like an avocado. Okay. We did not need Xanax, opiates like fentanyl. Well, but we need it for anesthesia. Do we really? Maybe we didn't need even 10% of the surgeries that are being performed today. Maybe we didn't. Yeah. Little Blondo. Hey, greetings from Scotland. Oh, yeah. Well, it's not about being bad, but I mean, yes, 23 spot cavities that are called caries. And what's really happening here is that there was a thyroid deficiency preceding the caries. Okay. So now we go and we put the mercury in the mouth. And at 18 years old, I was at the dentist's office. I was always faithfully getting my every 6-month cleanings. I said, I don't feel that these silver amalgams, because I'd open my mouth and people go, whoa, holy smokes, how many do you have in there? And I'd go, 23, and a gold crown, which with your saliva changes the charge. See, gold and silver, gold is called a noble metal. But these are noble metals. There's not a problem with noble metals. These are what you expect to hear. This is what you expect to hear from the same people or the same mind, the same collective hive mind that believes that infant formula is just swell. It's okay. You should be sucking on a cow and nursing on some cow mammary fluid. We'll just put something on the nose of the little baby cow and make sure that that little baby cow can't nurse on his own mother. Thank you again, John Robbins, 1987, sitting at tables, eating food, discussing what's important. This is a long journey for me, and I'm not going out without making a difference. So I'd like to do that peacefully, proactively. I'd like to do it through helping other people to educate. Right, Fire? Fire, are you sleeping, buddy? Fire. Fire had a really good breakfast, and he is knocked out over there. And I'm telling you, Fire had a really, really bad case of what would easily be called autoimmune. His joints were extremely swollen, and if I take you over there, you can see he's 8 years old. He's like a young dog again. He's still hobbling a little bit. Right, Fire? Fire, are you good, buddy? You say hi to everyone? Hi, everyone. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Bonnie in Scotland. Let me know. Do I look better? Is my skin glowing? Did I reverse the gray in my hair? Is my hair growing pretty quickly? Is my body lean? I'm not suffering. I'm not running to the gym. You eat a plant-based diet, the weight falls off, it stays off. If you are overweight, you are not, in fact, eating a plant-based diet. You can't hide it from other people. I can't just put my face on the screen and just show you my face. You can see I still have adrenal fatigue if I look really close at my eyes. Still working on that, okay? But I'm getting somewhere. Big somewhere. Oh, thank you, Whitney. I appreciate that. Thank you for joining me. I don't mean for this to go on and on and on. The whole world has the ability to be gifted. You have the ability to absolutely elevate your children's intelligence and your own, and our canine companions. Pablo and Luna are in the room for undisclosed reasons. I'm not going to say on the video because if I share everything, it can sort of compromise my environment. I think you'll understand that. So there's some things I cannot share with you here that I do share with clients in private, and I like it to stay that way. So thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure that you're an advocate. Please make sure that you go in and actually like this video, because in it sends a message to send it out to other people with the tags that I put in it. We all have the ability to have an exceptionally high IQ. If I did it and you get your HTMA done, which is a hair tissue mineral analysis, I'm going to put the link down below. You order it, click, as long as you're not in the state of New York. It comes to you in the mail with a cover letter and a scale and an envelope and a return envelope. You put about a teaspoon of hair, taking it from the very scalp, and only 1.5 inches, cut off anything longer and put the small piece on the scale. You need about a teaspoon total, temporal, the back, the crown. I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it repeatedly to make sure that what I'm doing is working. I was going into osteoporosis, something I would have never guessed for me, but you just can't imagine that when you're under stress and you're not taking your supplements and you're not sleeping and your adrenals go down, it will affect the rest of your body. So do this for yourself. It's $250. Do it for you. For the test and the consult, I work about an hour studying your wellness, your patient, put everything together, succinct. So in our half an hour through the screen or the phone, I can really help you, honestly. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys joining me. Make it a great day.